For those of you who didn't notice, I was gone. For those of you who did, I'm back. I've been back on YouTube for the last few weeks now. This is after me saying that I would never come back to YouTube. And well, here I am. I was a beauty influencer since 2009. I was 19 years old. I hope you all are very bad at math. That was like 2 or 3 noses ago, but who's counting? I was there at the very, very beginning throughout pretty much all of the phases and eras. It was a time that I'm very, very grateful for, but it was something that I definitely outgrew. I was not a very good influencer. In a lot of ways, I was a really bad influencer. I was not really great at like kissing ass, faking it. I wish I could fake things. I would be a lot more successful if I could just, put on a good face and, smile and pretend everything is fine and like I agree with everything. But that's just not who I am, unfortunately, and put a pin in that because we're going to circle back to a subject that's really going to throw you for a loop. I had been doing the whole beauty influencer thing since I was like 19 years old. So by the time I got to about 2020, I had really, really outgrown it. We all know what was going on in 2020. It just felt very insensitive to me to be getting on the internet and talking about like mascara and pretending that everything is normal. It just didn't feel right for me. Everything was becoming very politicized. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about a beauty product and then tie it into some political movement. It's just like I have like a visceral reaction to even trying to do things that just don't align with what I actually think, believe, or feel. So instead, I took that as like my cue to basically back away from everything. And a lot of my beliefs and things that I used to think that I thought, everything had kind of like a big question mark over it for me. So I decided the best thing for me to do was to step back. So I stopped creating content on YouTube. Instead, some of you know this, instead I was on Instagram continuing on like halfway talking about things that, I still used to talk about, but also going like so far down every rabbit hole you can imagine and every conspiracy theory. And I was going off. And I will say this, majority of the things that I said were going to happen did end up happening. So I know a lot of people thought I was nuts, but I was pretty spot on about a lot of things. I had taken a big step back from the whole beauty influencing thing. And instead, I had like a bunch of shares from a company. I'm sure you guys can think of which one it is. And I ended up selling them off. And thank God I did. Thank God I did, because now they would be like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what they were worth at the time. So that gave me a lot of comfort to explore other things and figure out what I wanted to do next. And I ended up getting into a number of different worlds that I normally probably would have never imagined I would. Like I fell into a lot of political stuff, which was interesting. That was a time. I thought personally that I was very funny because I had a way of talking about things where it's like, yes, I sound crazy, but I also sound hilarious. And somewhere in the midst of it all came this like running joke that just stuck, where like I made a joke where I was like, oh, I'm a dictator, like, or this is my dictatorship. I meant it as a joke, and for some reason it kind of stuck. And people that were following me on Instagram started calling me supreme leader, started calling me the dictatress. Interestingly enough, it kind of started attracting a very different kind of audience. But basically what happened was I accidentally became like a financial dominatrix. I had men coming in and they would like want to have me insult them. They would ask to see my feet and they would pay for it. And I was just like, I think I found my calling. I wish that during that time I was more of like a bimbo and was just like continuing on, doing my makeup tutorials. It would have really benefited me if I was just shaking my ass on TikTok. That would have been probably the best thing I could have done, which I didn't do. I was sitting there avoiding TikTok like the plague because everybody was saying like it's China spying on us. as if all of these other apps that we use aren't already spying on us. So what's the difference? I didn't think that all the way through. I should have. I should have been on there shaking my ass. I should have been getting the PPP loans. I should have been launching my Only feed, and I should have been having a ball. There's a lot of girls who are on the internet who are doing OnlyFans, and they're talking to men and having like these girlfriend experiences and whatnot, giving them like the girlfriend experience, and they're making money off of it. But like that wasn't for me. It goes back to what I said before. This is why I said, remember what I said before, I have a very difficult time faking things. I can't fake being into a man for money. I can't do it. I wish I could. I wish I could, but I can't. I just don't have it in me. However, when you tell me that a man comes along and like he just wants me to insult him and he'll pay me for it, like that makes sense to me because that's how I feel anyway. So it worked for me. But that experience really changed so much of how I view almost everything. Like it didn't just teach me about stuff related to that or even just related to men. It was teaching me things related to literally every single other area of life that I can think of. It taught me about confidence. It taught me about the way that you view yourself, the way that you think about yourself, the way that you present yourself. It taught me about psychology, human nature, taught me things that I don't think I would have ever learned from doing absolutely anything else. The things that you'll learn from a dominatrix, you will not learn from an influencer. There is not an influencer under the sun that will teach you the things that you can learn from somebody who's been a dominatrix. There's just no way. This dictatress thing became kind of like a philosophy. And I was like, how can people be more of the supreme leader in their own lives? Because what I was noticing, no matter how successful people were, no matter how great things looked on the outside, you would be astounded as to how little people actually felt in control over their own lives. And I feel like when people get to the age where like they're entering their 30s and all of a sudden things become a lot more serious, the decisions that you make have more weight to them, you start to really be able to see who is marching to the beat of their own drum, who is doing the things that they really want to do in their lives, and who is doing the things that they're doing them just because they think they're supposed to. It all starts to become really clear. And so for me, during the time where I entered my 30s, I had the luxury of being able to take a big step back and think about what I wanted to do next and who I wanted to be. And at the same time, in order to do that, you kind of have to allow yourself to get lost and sort of take things as they come and see where things take you and try new things. And I intended on actually coming back like a year ago. But then unfortunately, she's fine now, but unfortunately my mother she was diagnosed with uterine cancer. She's fine now. We caught it very, very early. And I do want to talk about that because I think it's very important for women to know these things. But that was a very challenging time for me. And it took me kind of a while to get everything like back in order and get my head on straight again so that I can, focus on creating content. So here I am. I'm back. And I feel really good about being back.